Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Sunday Soul Club with your hosts, Kate and Elly. I'm Kate, and I am a psychic medium and kinesiologist from South Australia.
And my name is Elly. Hello to everyone. I am a seeker and I love soul, anything to do with a soul subject.
Well, you'll love today, Elly, because
wait.
it's actually one of our favorite subjects, serving your soul.
Oh my God.
And you know what I love the most about this particular subject is it's about learning how to lead life from a soul perspective rather than all the layers of conditioning and doing things the way that
Society says.
Yes, society says we've been told to do, which is really tiring.
I just love it because it's, am I allowed to swear, like a really low level swear word? We're just cutting all the bull crap. I won't swear. We're cutting all the bull crap. We're pulling the curtains away. Oh, what does my soul really want? Let's be guided by our soul, which means we need to quieten down to listen to it. Like you just said, not listen to what society says and be riddled with all the anxiety, running around, living a life that's all inauthentic.
Absolutely. And because we've both done this, right? Both of us have lived this life and then disconnected from the life we were told we were supposed to live.
Or the life we so thought we wanted and we got there and went, oh no, I don't really want this anymore. How will I undo it?
Yeah. Because I think the thing is you don't know how to get there. I'm so, I guess envious or admire is a better word, of the people who know what they want to do or their soul leads them really, really early on. But it wasn't that easy for me to get there. I didn't kind of move into soul purpose work until my 30s.
Yeah, wow. And so many people, their soul purpose can be something that society doesn't go tick, because I always find it so amazing, like, oh, hi, I'm Elly, what do you do? Or why don't you say hi? Or hi, Kate, what do you do? Why don't I say, hi, Kate, what feeds your soul? Yes. Why isn't it the first question in society? What makes your heart sing? Imagine if people asked that question at a party or, it doesn't matter. I mean,
imagine how bored they would be hearing me talk about mediumship.
Oh, you wouldn't shut up. I'd be bloody running a mile putting Puma sneakers on. God. Imagine me talk because I'm passionate about painting. I've only just discovered painting like in the last year and I'm talking about every single petal that I'm going to paint and every single shade. I bore you to tears with it. But it makes my heart sing.
It makes you happy. And even though you send me 17 photos a day of all of your artwork, like I love it. It makes me happy because I want people to be doing their soul work too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, not that I'm saying I've got all the answers at all. This is just a podcast talking about our stories and, about what we think serving the soul is. Serving the soul, there's no pressure on it, right? There's no, you have to serve your soul by age 28. You know what I mean? Like, when you got to buy a house and you got to have that paid off and you got to get married and there's just no pressure. A lot of people find serving their soul later on in life.
Yeah. And I actually think it's one of those things you can do with more wisdom. If we talked about last time, we talked about mediumship and we've talked about psychic and the fact that I was just born this way. Yeah. The thing is that I can remember being a teenager and all I wanted to do was be a naturopath. And my guidance counselor said, no, Kate, you can't be a naturopath because this was the 90s, right?
Yes, that would have been far out back then. What's a naturopath?
It was wild to even think about that.
Would have been.
And she said, but you'll never be able to get clients. You'll never be able to make a career. Who would see a naturopath? And I'm like, well, what do I do? And she said, well, you should get a job in the government or a bank and get permanent tenure and then you'll be so happy forever. Yeah. So I went to uni. I did my master's in information system design. Wow. And I got a job in the government.
Oh, God, Kate.
It was so unhappy.
Oh, I can't even imagine that reality for you.
And I chose the Department of Environment and Heritage thinking I would help the environment.
Yeah, you're going to help, yeah.
There was no helping.
Oh, no.
But it was one of those things that I did what somebody else told me to do because they said when you have permanent tenure, you'll be happy. Yeah. There was no happiness. I don't remember, other than the few cool people that I worked with, I don't ever remember walking into work joyous and excited and passionate. I was always just like, oh, try to get through today.
When I left school at 17 and there's many, many stories, but I fell into floristry and I was very, very lucky. And I was a florist for 13 years. And I remember when people said, no matter what was going on in my life, I'd always gush, oh my gosh, I love my job. I love my job so much. I said that for 13 years. And even if I worked for a dickhead, even if, there was drama or like, I loved doing it. And then I went from that to becoming a nurse, and a little bit like you, I became a nurse. I'm like, oh my God, I got to do something. I got to get an education. If I get a nurse, all this fear, right? There's fear, and it means I can get a job anywhere, and like I can go anywhere in Australia. And then they're like, and it just went on and on and on. So I did this. I became a nurse, and also thinking like you within the environment. Oh, I'll be able to help people, and all I wanted to do is say, hello, Auntie Betty, and like, plump up a cushion and pop a little drop of lavender on a wrist, you know what I mean? And go, there, and tuck them in. Oh, no, and it wasn't. You're just a drug giver. That was my experience. Yeah. You're just seriously a drug giver, and that was it. So that went down like a lead balloon. But I knew, right? I did it from fear. Yeah. Floristry came from my heart.
Yes.
So that's the difference, going back into the yes, the no, the intuition. When you look back at the timeline of your life, of everyone's or the listener's life, you could go, oh, yeah, I remember when I got a yes, I got a no. I was serving my soul then.
Yes.
Was not serving my soul then because I was listening to fear and what society says I should do.
Yeah, because we're actually fed the story that we have to go to school and then go to university and then get a degree and get married and have 2.5 children and a Labrador retriever and go overseas every 2 years and upgrade the car every 4 years. And we're told this story that that's what makes people happy. But it feels like more people are miserable in that existence.
Well, they are. And I think that people are awakening now. You couldn't have said that to someone 20 years ago. I remember saying to my dad when I left school, I can't believe that people have to get dressed in a suit, go to work for 30 years, do something they hate. And he said, oh, well, that's what the whole world does. Just shut up. Like, don't ever mention that to anyone.
Yeah.
But now I can say that to people. Like, you know what? Most people hate their jobs. It really sucks. Like, people are making effort now to say, you know what? I don't have to be in this matrix of the world. I don't have to be doing what society says.
Yeah.
We all have different ingredients that make us happy. And that's what serving your soul is.
Absolutely. Because there are people who do want to be the accountant because they're really great at numbers.
Absolutely.
That's not me, but that is them, right? And so, we have this little thing which just feels good. And I think that's one of the things that, it's important to learn what it feels like when we're choosing something that brings us joy rather than doing something because we feel like we should.
Absolutely. And I think it's good to touch base that I know that most of the world has to work, but serving your soul doesn't have to be just through your work. So you can go to a job that, it's okay. It might not serve your soul 1,000,000%, but your life beyond work, you're serving your soul left, right, and center with people around you, with, whatever you love, whatever.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be very linear. Like, I need to serve my soul through my work. I need to serve my soul through my friends. It can be in so many different areas.
Absolutely. And I think it falls into too much personal judgment because the truth is we do have to pay the bills.
Exactly.
Right?
There's reality there.
There's still happiness when you go on a Saturday morning and walk the dogs at a dog shelter. And that makes you happy when you're looking forward to it every week, that you get a chance to go in and just walk the dogs and play with them and throw the ball and all of the fun things that you get to do. It's okay that you're doing something that you don't enjoy so much because part of life is sometimes doing things that aren't always making us happy.
Exactly. And also doing stuff sometimes that you don't like. It gives you stuff. I always look at the analogy of Michael Jackson, right? I always think, oh my God, he had it all. He had the Ferris wheel, the chimpanzee, the everyone's worshipping, married Lisa Marie, like, I don't know, whatever. He just had everything. So he sometimes, I know that he did have a really bad life, but everything on his external was so amazing, right? Yeah. So we do need some of the bad things to appreciate the good things. Like, he wouldn't have appreciated the chimpanzee and the Ferris wheel because he sees it every day.
Yeah.
Take me into that wonderland and I would be blown away because I don't have that in my daily life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, we definitely do need that to see the polarity of each thing.
Definitely we do. So Elly, then I wonder what it feels like for you. Like, if we were talking about this and listeners start identifying it, because you talked about how you had all of this beautiful experience of floristry and then you moved into the nursing role and then it didn't feel the same.
Yep.
Do you remember what felt different?
In nursing?
When you were listening, like when you make a decision.
Oh, yeah.
in the decision-making process? Like, was it a feeling for you? Were there signs? Were there things, did the universe put up a stop sign and say, no, Elly, wrong way, go back, go back? Did you get a feeling?
Okay, amazing question. Actually, no, I didn't, but there's a reason for that. I didn't get a feeling because I was meant to be a nurse. I was meant to be a nurse because then I ended up becoming like an aesthetic nurse, a dermal therapist, and opening up my own business and being really, really successful. So without that background of becoming a nurse, I never would have been able to buy all these medically graded laser equipment. I wouldn't have been able to. Back then, when I started my business, only doctors and nurses were doing laser resurfacing and very advanced skin treatments.
I see.
So it's so funny. Sometimes you look back on life and you think, oh, that was all planned. I was meant to be a nurse because without that, I could have never have got into what I got into for many years, and it changed my life getting into that financially.
Yes.
And in many ways, I learned a lot of lessons, good and bad. But yeah, so no, I didn't really get a feeling, but I guess the feeling I had at the time was fear, total fear-based. I got to do this because I'll always get a job, because I'm not going to be a dead shit saying I'm a florist. Like, I need to have a career. I need to climb the ladder. I need to, So it was definitely through fear at the time, but worked out in the end.
I actually said something really interesting, because even though there was fear, there was a total part of your soul journey that required you to do that, because that nursing degree unlocked the next part of your chapter. And without that nursing degree, you would never have been where you got to be.
100,000%. So even when I say to my husband, Sean, he's like, God, that was home. So that's all those years of you being depressed and, like hating being a nurse, it was just all meant to be. And life is like that often. When you think it's not working out, we always talk about having faith, because it's all part of the plan. And then when you look back, you don't know until hindsight, until the future's evolved. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I have this real understanding and belief that everything is orchestrated and we're almost in control of nothing. We have little micro controls, so the universe thinks we're in control of something.
Yes.
But then the master controller, we don't get to control.
Yeah.
And I think I've told you about, in a lifetime before kinesiology, I did koala rescue, because where I live up in the hills, there's koalas everywhere. So they're just my favorite animal. And one day I had rescued this beautiful koala called Pascal. And Pascal was like a koala like no other. He was just so friendly. He wasn't wild at all. He was like having a cat. And as soon as I got him, because even though I hadn't had my spiritual awakening and I was still in the midst of migraines and illness at that time, I was very, very psychic, but I just didn't use a word for it. So when I picked up Pascal, who was only a few streets away from me, I'm like, oh my gosh, his kidneys are destroyed. Like, he has kidney disease, which is what a lot of koalas in the neighborhood die of. And he's going to die. But when I took him to the vet, they said, no, he's just dehydrated. He's perfectly fine. Just look after him for a week. And when he's got his strength back, let him go. So I had the most beautiful week ever with Pascal. And the entire time my body's telling me, no, he's going to die. No, he's going to die. He's going to die. And I was heartbroken because I loved him. Like, no, the vet said he'll be fine. So I'm looking after him. It finally comes to day 7 where I take him back into the wild. I take him to this beautiful park, and there's a tree there. And Pascal used to do the most beautiful thing ever. He used to smooch. So you know how cats do that little thing where they come up to you and they push their face against you? He would do that. And in that week, we'd gotten so deeply connected that he would come up to me on the branch and smooch me, and I'd kiss him goodbye. I'm like, I have to leave you in the wild now, but I love you forever. And then he would climb down the tree and start running after my car. So then I would get out of the car. I'd have to pick him back up, put him back in the tree. And we did it about 5 or 6 times till he finally stayed in the tree and I drove off. And I'm like, wow, he's gone back to the wild.
Yeah.
And I still got that feeling he's not going to make it.
Yeah.
So 2 days passed, and then I got a phone call from the vet, and the vet said to me, because he was ear tagged, so we had a little phone number to call if he was ever found. And some people had found him on the ground 2 days later, and they had called the vet and they dropped him in. And the vet said, look, we've just tested his urine again and his kidneys are perfectly fine. So we think he's just a bit tired. Why don't you keep him a little bit longer and come and pick him up? And I said, okay. But what I needed to do first is I needed to go up the road to get some fresh leaves for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going up the road to get leaves for him, and there's beautiful gum trees just up in my street that had low-lying branches. And so I was there and I was picking some leaves, and a crow flies over, and I've always fed the crows in the area, so they're my friends. And a crow flies over and he grabbed the top of my hair, like fully plucked it, and then flew over to a branch and started making the crowing noise, like that cawing sound. And I'm like, that's really interesting. And so I look over at him, and he's just doing the sound over and over and over again. And when I looked just below him, I could see really long grass and two little ears poking out.
Okay.
And so I walked up and I see this beautiful little koala, but she's laying down on the ground, and I knew she was in trouble. So I picked her up, and bless her little soul, she really cried because she must have been in so much pain. So I got her quickly into my car because I was about to get the leaves and go pick up Pascal from the vet. And as soon as I put her in the car and I sat in the front seat, the vet called and said, I don't even know what to say, but we've spun his urine a couple of times. And when it first said it was okay, we now see that he's in the midst of kidney failure. We're not going to let him go. We have to euthanize him.
Oh my God. And
so it's one of those little stories that there's always a planned purpose, because if I hadn't been able to, if they had said, he's fine, come and get him now, and I hadn't gone to get those leaves, I never would have picked up that little girl. So somehow spirit guides or the koala animal guides or whatever is there knew that was happening. So there's already this sort of path that just opens up.
Yes.
When there's a level of alignment.
Yes, absolutely. So you were serving your soul, even though you didn't quite understand at the time what was going on.
Yeah.
And how it was going to evolve.
It was one of those beautiful lessons of understanding that actually everything is purposeful.
Yeah.
And when you're listening to your soul, magic happens every single day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Tell me about it. No, I love it. I love, and I think one of the most important things that I have learned, I have had a year off, and at that time I was kind of still in that business mindset, achieve, got to do. And the year off really just gave me time to completely let go.
Yeah.
And it's not something you can pay for. You can't go to see a psychologist. You can't go to India. It has to happen internally, to let go, so you can start listening to your soul talking to you and not be impatient. Because I think a lot of people are caught up in, well, that's really great, I want to serve my soul, but what do I need to do? Anthony Robbins? Do I need to do Mel Robbins, freaking quantum physics? Like, what do I need to do to serve my soul? For you, it's listening to the Backstreet Boys really loud and getting excited.
Yeah. I know. But this is what I mean about the extra path. You've needed that, right?
Yeah.
Because truthfully, I hope it's okay if I share this as well with the listeners. You've applied for a few jobs which were perfect for you.
Yes.
And made sense.
Yeah.
And then everything was like, you're going to get this job.
Oh, yeah. And I just didn't.
Then you didn't.
Yeah.
Because actually you weren't supposed to.
Absolutely.
Because this period of time where you were supposed to be in peace and just unwinding.
And it's the winter. Like you always say to me sometimes, and, for the listeners, sometimes serving your soul or knowing what the next answer is means that being super comfortable and there is no answer. And that's okay as well. Like, that's profound. There's no answer. Yeah. And I'm so happy with that.
And it's perfect, right? Because we always have this societal conditioning that we're supposed to be busy all the time.
Yeah.
So just being at home and painting and, doing some of the counseling sessions and doing the little bits and pieces that you're doing that feel amazing, that is what you're supposed to be doing now.
Yeah.
And nothing more.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a really good girlfriend who just came to visit me, and she said, she's got one of those really lovely posh voices. Oh, Elly. I love her voice anyway. I just doesn't have to put that out there. But, when she says, when people ask me about my hobby, I get stuck and think, oh, what's my hobby? And I say, well, if someone asks me what my hobby is, I'm like, well, it's relaxing. Like, my hobby is like relaxing, like at all times, like, it's just like amazing. And, having time to slow down and not being under pressure from society has given me time to really enjoy and savor the beautiful things in life.
Yeah.
Having a cup of tea in my backyard, like, is literally like being on drugs, like on acid or something like that. Not that I know about that, but like maybe I did do that when I was younger. Okay, let's face it. But I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it's all that noise when it's taken away. There's so much beauty to be seen and to absorb. It doesn't matter if we're not serving our soul at every moment.
That's right. Except
because
that
it will come.
You are in your winter, you're serving your soul perfectly.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know.
It's perfectly. And it's one of those things because Elly, she's never been happier ever, because maybe I should tell the listeners about my broken toe. And how happy you were that I broke my toe.
I was so pumped. I'm like the worst friend ever. I'm doing roly-polies. Like, this is the best thing ever. Anyway.
Because I took leave from work, and I walked out of work, and I had to go to a funeral. I've got family in the Riverland. I came back on a Saturday, Sunday morning, first day of my holidays.
Yep.
And I'm getting ready for the gym. It's 6:10 in the morning, and I walk barefoot into a dumbbell that I left laying on the ground. And I heard a snap instantaneously. And I think I messaged you at 6:20 or something ridiculous.
You messaged me immediately.
I know.
I was waking up with a WhatsApp. Ding, ling, ling. I'm like, oh my God.
Because I'd broken my toe.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting about why you were rejoicing is I'd done a channeled message for both you and I from Archangel Uriel during the week.
Yeah.
And so I'd been connected with him, and his message for me was really important. His message for you was really important, also about serving your soul. And then when I broke my foot on the dumbbell, I'm laying in bed and, rolling around. I'm like, oh, my toe's broken. I need to get to a hospital. And my husband moves the dumbbell because he wants to make sure that I never hit my toe on it ever again. And right underneath it was a coin that had a picture of Archangel Uriel on it.
Unbelievable.
And I have that coin in my purse. I have 4 Archangel coins in my purse at all times. I had not taken it out.
Yeah.
I had left it there.
Yeah.
But somehow through pure universal magic,
yes,
Archangel Uriel put that coin underneath that dumbbell. He broke my toe on purpose.
What a legend.
And he left his little coin there. I know, he was like an Avon calling card. Hi, Kate, here I am.
Yeah. I love it. And I must say that since you've broken your toe, which has only been like 3 days or something, I've never seen you so happier. Yesterday you made your kumquat jam. You and I think it was, straight away I was like, yeah, that's to slow you down because you, obviously there's so many little miracles that are sprinkled around, like how the hell did the coin get out and by the dumbbell, but you were, and I think this happens to a lot of people too, you were in full gear. Mm-hmm. So yes, you were going on holiday, and also for the listeners, Kate's getting more into, a different side of the business.
Yes, that's right. I'm moving more into psychic mediumship rather than just staying in kinesiology because I just feel, again, that's what my soul wants me to do.
And what happened was you basically had this break coming up, but it didn't even matter if you had a break or you were overseas because your head's still running 100 million miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I think that's you can serve your soul now and make kumquat jam and slow down and you know what I mean?
I know. I've just been like laying in bed and watching Christian Slater movies and like texting Elly 17 times a day and but that's it's good. Just a really different energy, right? Because that's the thing that I want people to realize is that actually serving your soul sometimes it's the parts that don't feel so good.
Absolutely.
It's also, just like you with, that taking that time that year, you needed that. Yeah. That was part of serving your soul. Me breaking my toe was part of serving my soul, but it's that extra little bit of where we strip everything away and we're trusting things that the bad things happen, but it's purposeful.
And you look back and think, God, that was amazing. I broke my toe because of all these things that I did. and then where it took me.
Yes.
You can't see it 100% now. You know, though, that there's a big purpose. You already know straight away. In fact, you're the happiest person that's ever broken their toe I've ever met.
Well, because my toe was broken by an archangel.
I know. It was broken by an archangel. You're like absolutely pumped. And I think it's probably like one of the littlest bones in the whole body, which I think is an amazing cosmic joke. I love it.
I know, just enough to stop me walking around and doing a million things, but not enough to like ruin my mood.
I love your like moon boot, whatever you got on right now. Kate's got this very trendy sandal on. All right. So I suppose to sort of round it up a little bit, I think serving your soul is being able to listen without the anxiety that the world gives us, or whether it's the anxiety that we have for whatever reason through trauma or society. It's to truly slow down and understand that there's no time limit because the universe has a different timeline.
Yeah. And just to be without judgment.
Yes, absolutely. That's a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
Be without judgment.
There are times where things are building and we both run very successful businesses.
Yeah.
And then there's times where we don't.
Yeah.
And that is also serving your soul.
Absolutely.
Being in that winter, having that quiet time.
Yeah. The thing is that serving your soul is pretty addictive.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, I met one of our mutual girlfriends. She's absolutely beautiful. She works in your clinic. Probably shouldn't mention her name, but anyway, and we met yesterday for coffee, and honestly, it's like two little beams of light coming together. I said to her, I literally I can't not serve my soul. I can't be with people that are okay, but I should just meet them anyway. I just can't do it. It becomes kind of once you serve your soul, you can't not.
I agree, because again, it's one of those feeling things, right? I can't even.
Yeah.
My poor husband invited me to a work function. I'm like, I cannot go.
Yeah,
and he goes, well, you just have to sit there for 2 hours and it's fine. I'm like, I talk to people and it's so boring and I've got nothing in common with any of these people. Because the joy and the excitement, whether it's painting, whether it's watching a Christian Slater movie with a broken toe in bed, that's in our alignment.
Yes, absolutely.
But moving into that space of catching up with people that feels like conformity, having to do the thing that doesn't align with what we want.
Yes.
And, who we are feels really hard.
It does. So, for all those people out there that are like, I understand what serving your soul is, because you can think about stories of when you served your soul. Maybe you guys are serving your soul now. But just like, keep going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, it's just trusting and knowing that the place you're in now is not going to be forever. It'll move. And it might be scary to move. You might have a really strong feeling of, I want to do this. And it's really hard to do because, granted, it's been hard for both of us. We make it, we've spoken in a way that made it seem easy. We've had busy and successful businesses, but actually that's been a lot of hard work and study and training and things like that. They might want to be in a certain place and know that will serve their soul, but it's okay if it's 3 years from now.
And also I found that when I got to I had climbed my ladder and got to the point of my personal utter success, I'm not talking about Madonna on stage with millions of people, my tiny little world, you know what I mean? Like what I thought of as myself as success. I reached there and I felt like vomiting every day.
Yes.
I felt like being sick. I couldn't explain it to anyone. I was so deeply unhappy, but everyone was like, I don't understand because this has been driving you for years and now you're here. Yeah. And it was all meaningless.
And what happens is everybody looks at that example and it's like, what do you mean you're unhappy? You are living the dream.
Yeah.
But it's not your dream anymore.
It's not
because
your dream,
the soul needed you to move in a different direction.
Absolutely.
It was kind of like, even with kinesiology, like I was bounding into work.
Yeah, you were.
Happy and excited and always like that until I felt the little tingle of my soul that said, you need to do this. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I'm really sorry. I don't want to. And my soul's like, you need to do this. I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you very much. And I kept doing it because kinesiology has been fantastic and I love it.
Yeah.
But my soul says maybe you need to do more teaching, or maybe you need to do more psychic mediumship stuff, or maybe you need to do more podcasting, or maybe you just need to create and not do as many clients now, and you can't do those things side by side. So it sometimes is uncomfortable in that process, but you feel the little tingle that just feels more right.
And sometimes it kicks your ass. Sometimes your soul kicks your ass. You can keep saying, well, that's really uncomfortable. Like, you know what I mean? I've got this clinic now and this is all I wanted. And then, you know, I'm going to keep pushing it away. But eventually it kicks your ass. Eventually it catches up with you.
Absolutely.
You know, and you just think, I have to just take the leap of faith and not do this anymore. And it can be in a relationship or with a friendship or in any area of your life.
Definitely.
Oh, what a nice chat. This is such a good chat. I love serving your soul. We could talk about this all day.
I know.
Well, to our beautiful listeners, we hope that this was a little bit of food for your soul. Are you serving your soul? Please write to us in any way that you can if you're serving your soul, if you want to serve your soul. But we've had so much fun talking with you all today.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear from our listeners about what they do or what they feel like, or where even they might be stuck, where they know they need to serve their soul and they still feel stuck about what the next step is. We'd love to hear all of it. So please share, and we will catch up with you guys on our next episode of the Sunday Soul Club.
Have a really great day, people. We love you.
Bye.